Hey everyone, welcome to 90 Degree Turns, where we expand the minds, beliefs, and perspectives of the collective and awaken sleeping many. I'm your host, Trisha Margus, and we are here back again with Alba Weinman for part 2 of the interview. So if you haven't seen part 1, definitely click the link down below. It's about her past, how she got into hypnotherapy, and a lot of really interesting details. And this episode, we're going to dive into entities and learn more about them and to understand that part of hypnotherapy. So let's get right in. So Alba, thank you for being on the show yet again.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. So I would love to dive into the concept of entities.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you first discover that their entities could even attach to people and to their souls and to their memories? How did you first find that out?
Well, just like people are watching me, I was watching my mentor, Aurelio Mejia, who is a hypnotherapist from Medellin, Colombia. And he had thousands of videos online. And so when I first started doing hypnosis, I had plenty of time on my hand. I used to be sewing. That was my hobby. I used to sew until all hours of the night. And I would pop up my little iPad next to the sewing machine and just watch Aurelio Mejia doing his hypnosis sessions. And that's the first time I had seen anything about entities. And so just like people are learning from me, I was learning from him about this. But the thing is that he has his own style of how he handles entities. And I realized very quickly that did not work for me. Aurelio Mejia had been doing this for over 20 years or 25 years, and he had confidence in himself. This was new stuff for me. I had never encountered an entity before. I really wasn't sure how to handle them. So when I tried imitating him, it backfired. Because entities know. Listen, you're an entity in this body.
Yeah.
Right? I'm an entity in this body. And an entity is able to connect with you and know if you're afraid, if you're not confident. So the first time I encountered an entity, it did not work well. They just basically laughed at me and walked all over me. You know, like, oh, like you don't know what to do. So that was my first encounter with an entity, and I was so embarrassed for myself that I didn't know how to handle entities. That's when I dove into research, into everything I could find out about how to handle entities. And one of the things that we did know is that since we are all spirits, you don't bully a person. If that person has a problem, you're not going to bully them because they have a problem. And an entity is a person who is really a lost soul. This is a person who perhaps died in an accident, a traumatic experience, died quickly without knowing that they died, or they died angry because someone shot them, and they never went home. So they found a person who they could really continue living their life through. So they're not just going to leave because, hey, they found a host. So if they were, for example, drug addicts and they can keep enjoying their addiction through you, they're going to use you to get their high. If they're an alcoholic, they're going to do the same thing. If they like porn, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to keep living their life through you.
Are those entities aware, though, that it's not them, that they're kind of using someone else's vessel?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So we go in there, we find them, and we get their story. What's the story? Why are you there? Well, I was lonely, I was lost, or I was afraid of going anywhere because I was a bad guy. And, bad people go to hell, so I'm not going anywhere. Or the big guy upstairs is going to punish me. That's what I've been theory in religion that I was going to be punished, so I'm not going anywhere. I'm not
Rather just stay in a neutral place.
I'm not going to that light because I don't know if I'm going to be punished when I get there. So their belief system is really important when they die, because if they're afraid of dying, they're not going to go to the light. They're going to find a host to keep living. So you do therapy on these entities. You find out how did they die, in what circumstances, what happened. Do they have any grudges or anything? Did they know this person maybe? Did they know them? Perhaps they were even connected to them somehow. Could have been their mom or dad too. How did they know them and why? And how can we help them? And we educate them. We educate them and explain to them, listen, no one's going to punish you. Oh, but I'm afraid. And you kind of do therapy on them. And sometimes what will happen is we have to do a past life regression on them. So we'll go into their past life to see how they got to be where they are. Because sometimes they have attachments.
So just to be clear, you're saying, so someone's under hypnosis.
Yeah.
They have an entity that's attached
Yes.
due to their match of frequency.
Yeah. Yes.
And that entity has an entity.
Could have an entity. Yes.
Are any of them aware of each other?
Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. So we have to do therapy on all of them. So it can get very, very interesting and complicated at the same time. You have to really figure out who's who. But yeah, we could go into past lives because we're all spirit. We're all living simultaneously, and all of these people could be connected somehow. And some of these can be really convoluted. So yeah, you could have someone who had been a really bad guy, but they could have been a bad guy because they had an entity, and then they died and
drag someone else
over, and then they're affecting them. So what we do is we always treat these entities with respect, with love, where we treat them as if they were our own clients, find their way home, because they're evolving spirits too. So you could have a client and at the end of the day, you can have helped, 10, 15 people or people, spirits, find their way home or even more. So yeah, it's all a labor of love. It really is.
I mean, it must be to be able to go through into those depths.
Yeah.
Of not just helping the person that actually phoned and rang you, and you have a client right there, but then the multitude of layers that you have to go through.
Yes.
So then in your experience, have you found that these entities are like more lower vibrational, they're lost or angry, or can someone be like, oh, I had the same experience in my life, like someone passed away, so that's how we latched on to each other. It doesn't have to be as dark and traumatic.
No, it doesn't have to be dark and traumatic. There could be someone who just died in the hospital of a heart attack. And they were lost. They didn't know they died.
So they just
said, oh, there's a person, there's the light. And they could have just seen you as a spirit go by, and there you go.
Wow.
I had one of those. So I know.
Did you get it in that same way too?
Yes. In fact, one of the most memorable situations I had is that my sister went in for open heart surgery, and I don't hang out at hospitals very often. And when I saw her in the condition she was, she just looked like a slab of meat, on a bed with all these cords attached to her. And it's shocking because, this is your sister who is basically dead, except she's not. So you go into a sort of shock. And right after that, I felt like I was having a heart attack. I laugh about this now because it's just so silly. And I said, I think I'm having a heart attack. I think I'm going to go home now. I was in a hospital, but I didn't want to be in a hospital for a heart attack. I don't know why. I was just thinking that way. And I went home and I said, I'm going to have a heart attack. I think this is the last day of my life. And I went to the clinic across the street from me, and they said, we don't have people in here with perfect vitals, but your heart rate and your pulse is perfect. There's nothing wrong with you. And I said, yeah, but I'm going to die. So
you just know it.
I just knew it.
No one else can tell.
And I went home and I said, let me leave my door unlocked just in case they find my body in the morning.
Preparing.
Oh yeah, I was preparing. I had no problems. I fed the animals. And my guys, they were laughing at me and they said, put on the video until you break the spell. And the video was the Sasquatch video in which I'm laughing like for 4 minutes nonstop. And I said, I'm not in the mood for that. I'm going to die tonight.
I can't watch myself laugh.
I can't laugh. And they kept telling me, put on the soundtrack, basically the laughter track. And I said, all right. But I'm not in the mood because, I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm going to die tonight. And that was the entity talking. And I started listening I had recorded that soundtrack, and I keep it on my phone just when I'm feeling down. And I started playing the laughter, and I kept playing it over and over until I started laughing. And then I went to sleep, and in the morning it was like, what's that all about?
Like I'm alive, I'm awake, like I'm
What's
healthy.
that all about? Because you had to raise your frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So that when you're not a match to this frequency, it's not going to stay there anymore.
It has to disperse. It can't be with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had that experience. So what basically is you're feeling the same anxiety, you're having the same type of thoughts that this entity would, because it's kind of like, it's almost like it's overlaying over you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's giving you thoughts and it's giving you feelings and
you don't know if it's yours.
You don't know.
Suddenly you're thinking things.
You're thinking things, and I'm thinking, I'm just gonna die. And
you were okay with it?
I was okay with it. I don't have any problems with death. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave the door open just so that they don't break down the door or anything. It's just,
How considerate. It's great that you're so open to that. I feel like most people would have an issue with just even that realization.
No.
Oh no, what do I do? I'm gonna die.
No, but I started laughing and laughing, and
Yeah.
I do keep that soundtrack on my phone recorded, just when I'm feeling a little down because for some reason I'm feeling down, and I just start laughing, and you feel
Laughter's the best medicine.
It's the best.
It truly can get you to such a great
Yes.
place, just energetically, emotionally. The whole thing.
So entities, you can get entities in hospitals. You're down, your family members having surgery, and you're feeling down, and that's a great time for them to hit you with that. Cemeteries, funeral homes, there's a lot of them there. Bars.
Oh,
Bars
are
and
filled.
Bars are before you walk into a bar, you put that white light around you with the mirrors facing out because they're going to use you to drink. So in any situation where you're using drugs, even in those places where they have those controlled hallucinogenics, even then, they're prime game for that.
And I feel like also if you're not in the right state of mind, or if you just want to fool around with those
Yes.
substances, you're just opening the door.
You open
to
the door
things,
to allowing something. Once you're out of control, you're allowing that stuff to attach. So really, you
conscious of it.
You have to be conscious of it. And even though maybe people would not like this, but you have to have some sort of ritual. Just like you do when you get up and you brush your teeth, it's a ritual. You go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you brush your hair. There's a ritual that you do. Well, maybe when you're brushing your teeth, you start putting that white light around you and begin that as a ritual so that when you leave the house, at least you've defined, this is my space, this is my energetic space.
I think it's healthy.
It is healthy.
Absolutely. From an energetic standpoint and just a physical standpoint to just have that.
And before you go to sleep, you disconnect all the cords. You cut all those cords, you disconnect from all of those energies that you picked up today, because that's really important. It's like at the end of you take a shower, get rid of all that stuff. So the difference. It's energetic hygiene.
It's a great way to put it. Yeah, I was going to say, but just the cleanliness of your own, who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want anything else, you can, like I said, cut the cords. You can imagine just Snip. And I like the mirror one. That's what I often do actually when I go to a bar or something, or out of like my apartment into public places where there's a lot of people. I like to put like a ball of energy that's a mirror. So whatever comes at me that's
Facing
not of
out.
my faces out.
Yep.
So if it's not of my frequency, it'll just reflect right back to
Exactly.
Towards
Teach
my
your
way.
kids that.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. And I mean, I think it works for me. I hope it works for other people though. So maybe it'll work for you guys.
Try it.
All right, so could you tell me about your fondest memory of clearing an entity? Or one that shocked you most, anything?
The first one, really, that was shocking to me, which I wasn't expecting, was really not one entity, but it was a mass entity releasement, or going back to the light. And that was a client that I had from Uganda. And her family, her extended family, not her immediate family, had been massacred in Uganda, where there had been so many massacres. And we did a clearing of the land there. We were able to uplift all those spirits. And that was the first time that I had done a mass exodus. And that was just, to me, it was just amazing. It was amazing. So the mass ones are the ones that really I love. Because I can almost imagine it like a cloud of just entities just being released in from their misery here on earth. I think the second one that I did like that was in New York area, which was really weird, but we actually went into the Hudson River and all of the areas around New York. And during the mafia times, there were a lot of people who had cement shoes on, who had been put into cement and dropped into the river to be killed, and a lot of people had been buried and never found. Kind of like the unknown soldier, but they were the unknown mafia, the people that had been killed in the mafia. And so we did a clearing of that, of all those people, a lot of forgiveness there and mass exodus. That would have been a beautiful session, but my client felt uncomfortable because she couldn't prove that what she would said was true. And she didn't want to be ridiculed for giving out wrong information. I said, this is a hypnosis session. This is not writing a book about, stuff. And so she didn't want to share it, but that was beautiful. And then we had one which is online, which was in Hawaii. All of the spirits from the land of Hawaii. And that was amazing. So when I do those mass exodus ones, that's just, those are amazing to me.
I can only imagine the feeling.
Yeah. And actually now when I'm doing the gatherings, we actually all worked on clearing. I did a gathering in Berlin, and I specifically went to Berlin because I knew I had history there. Not good. I had been an American soldier that was shot down in the Second World War, and I didn't want to go to Germany, but I knew I had to go to Germany for forgiveness, to clear myself first, to forgive the German for having killed me last life, and with that peace, be able to forgive all of them and allow them to go to the light. So that, to me, was just so beautiful.
It sounds truly like God's work. They just help other souls, and in such a way that, like, I just imagine like a white cloud.
Oh yeah, that's how I see
it.
it.
Oh my gosh,
That's
I love that you can send them with, and they don't have to feel stuck and trapped.
Right.
On whatever plane of existence.
It's like giving them the permission slip to go home.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you've been here enough. We honor you. It's honoring these spirits that have not been acknowledged. People may have grieved over them, but it's really like thanking them and acknowledging them and giving them the permission slip to finally go home, that it's okay.
Do you ever hear from them? Like, they say thank you so much? Like,
Um,
is there any kind of a communication that way?
The only one that I felt, which was so weird, is I had never thought in my life that I would ever go to Hawaii. First of all, before I could never afford to go to Hawaii. But I went to Hawaii, and the moment the plane was going over Maui, starting to land, I felt this amazing energetic embrace, like a motherly embrace, saying thank you. And that brought me to tears. I was in the plane just crying because I felt that I was being thanked. So that was really emotional for me. I mean, you tell this to people and they think you're crazy, but that's how I felt.
It's so special.
It was like the mother of whatever the mother spirit is of Hawaii. And I don't know much about it, but I felt it was a female presence just thanking me, for doing that.
Wow.
So just honoring her people. We had a really intense session about that, about the last queen of Hawaii.
The energy on the Hawaiian Islands is very beautiful. And I had the opportunity to be there. And when I tried meditating, oh man, it's different. It's beautiful energy, but it is a different kind of energy when you meditate. If you meditate or do things like that, like it's in the history there's a lot of good and bad, mixed. Yeah, a lot of mixed stuff going on.
So those are the ones that are most memorable. Are the massive ones. I mean, there's so many of them, but those to me were like, this is on a massive scale. I love that.
So do you feel that before you help bring them up, do you have like a collective feeling like, oh, these are they're upset, they're lost? Is there like an understanding?
Like I told you before, I really don't know what's going to happen until it comes out of my mouth.
So you're just as surprised then? I'm
as surprised. My conscious mind or my ego is sitting back going like, whoa, what is this? I'm just as surprised as it's coming out of my mouth. And if you watch my videos, there are times when I go into a very long, extended, like almost poetic story or something. And I'm not making this stuff up. It's just coming out of me. And later I'm going like, whoa, that was amazing. Like, how did that happen? It's like the people who paint and they're just painting and all of a sudden they step back and they go, wow, what a beautiful painting. Because they're channeling something or a beautiful music piece or something. But that's what it feels like when I'm doing these sessions. I'm as surprised as everybody else.
That's amazing. It's great to hear. It's just there's such a different perspective, and
because I don't know how it happens. It just happens, and I'm as much surprised as everybody else.
Wow!
So everybody who is witnessing my videos is getting the front row seat as it's happening, pretty much. There's no planning, or I'm not thinking what I'm going to say ahead of time. I'm just saying the same thing there. We're both channeling.
Do you like to rewatch your videos?
No, never. No. I don't. No. I don't like to listen to them. I don't like to watch them. And if I have to go back and edit a video, I like to take as many notes as possible so I don't have to rewatch.
Go back and watch.
Yeah, I just splice out whatever I edit. I put on my notes, and I don't like to rewatch it. It's just no. So when people come up to me and say, "Oh, I love that video about," I have no idea. I don't remember. I don't remember what happened there.
It's good to have that, I guess, detachment of sorts too. So then you don't carry whatever that person did go through.
No.
You're like, okay, great. I've closed the door on that.
I call it flushing the toilet.
Yeah.
When you're done, just flush the toilet. It sounds nasty about people, but it's really, I don't want to carry any of that. And some sessions they stand out more because of the personality of the people or what happened. But I can't tell you verbatim what happened or what it was about or what it meant. I don't know. If you're watching it, you know more than I do.
Gather something from it, that's for sure.
Most people know more about my work than I do because they're watching it over and over again. I've just had it one time and didn't see it, didn't really watch it.
So I'd like to know then, have you experienced when someone was cursed, like ancestrally or personal, there's like a hex on them?
Well,
You do.
you know, we all are very powerful beings, all of us. And all of those religions are based on setting your intention. When you want something, like in the universe, like I wanted my car, you visualize what you want to happen. So if you are angry enough at a family and you want them to all die horrible deaths, and you can visualize this and you set that intention and you match that frequency, if they're also in that frequency, they're going to carry it. And so we do the same thing that we do with entities. We go back to the person who did it. So if someone cast a curse on you, it was probably somebody who may have been ticked off at you. Maybe you took their husband, or it could have been some reason they were angry. So we go back to that person. We reason with them. We figure out what's going on. We remind them of who they really are. Remember, you're doing everything in real time. Find that love within you. Why do you need to curse a family when you can, love instead and attract that, attract what you love rather than what you hate? And we do a therapy.
So that sounds just like therapy. Like you're telling them, like, you don't have to hex this person.
Right. Exactly.
Let's go for your feelings. Let's understand.
So we could do therapy on the person who sent that. It could be thousands of years ago. Time does not exist. And then sometimes they'll send like entities to do their dirty work.
Like minions?
Yes. And then we could ask the minions, like, why are you doing this? Well, I was told to do it. Well, you have your own free will, right? I didn't know that. Yes, everybody has their own free will. You can have your own free will. What do you really want to do? Do you want to be doing this for the rest of your eternity? No. Well, what do you want? So we do therapy on little minions so that they can go off and exercise their free will. So there's many different ways you can do this, but the whole thing is you do this with love. You find the origin. You turn it around. And then, of course, when you find, you do the antivirus, you clear that. Wow. It's all done with love. The intention is love. And once you find what caused this person to get angry, you send them love.
Love is the answer.
Love is the answer.
I believe that.
Have them connect with Creator. When we are disconnected from our source, from our Creator, we forget who we are. And that's really, there is no bad or good. It's just an experience. To God, Creator, it's just an experience that God is experiencing. It's how we think of it. And with love, you can remind them who they are. And once you remind them, oh, you're part of God, you're part of Source, it's like, oh yeah, now I remember. Wow. So the answer is always love.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful because it's so simple.
Yeah.
But then we forget, even as humans, like, we are love. We are reflections. Everyone's a reflection of everyone else. There's pieces of me. We're all together.
We're all one. So when let's say that you have a dysfunctional family and you're trying to fix them, really fix yourself, because you're like that pebble in the pond. Once you change your frequency, everyone around you, your whole reality changes.
It does. Absolutely.
So be the pebble that changes everything. Don't try to fix everybody else. Fix yourself first. And that frequency will then change that reality.
Yeah. That's the way it works. At least in my perspective, and the way I've experienced life. Yeah. Once I internally tweak things, just like you said, it's a pebble. Ripples will go.
The moment you start changing, you'll notice that people in your life start dropping out, new people start coming in. It's like your whole reality changes.
I'm sure we could all relate to that. Just a little bit,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'd love to then know, how do we ourselves not have entities latch onto us as we transition
It's
from
your
the
beliefs.
physical?
It's your belief system.
Hmm.
So, like, are you saying like when you die?
Yeah. Like, how do we not get, like, how do we just go straight to where we're supposed to go versus get stuck or have something be like a leech onto us and or we grab onto someone else? Is there any precautions or something we could do to prevent that?
Well,
It's very personal, like case by case.
it's case by case because your belief system is really everything. How you think about life, how you think about death. There is no such thing as death, really. We are a soul. We just change bodies. So we're always eternal. So when you are afraid of changing your vehicle, you don't understand that you really don't die at all. You just change form. Death should be a very easy process. And that's why people who have those near-death experiences come back and it's like, wow, I'm not afraid of death at all because that was great. I didn't want to come back. You realize that this is just a vehicle that this is your vehicle that you're wearing. And we change
for right now.
We change make and models and colors. And once we get out of our vehicle, we're still alive. It's like when you get in your car isn't going like, oh my God, I'm dead. There's no driver. You come back, you go, I'm here. I'm going to drive you again. But that's really the experience. If you are afraid, if you are, let's say, a religious background that believes that if you haven't done a good job of this life that you're going to go to hell, that's the reality that you're going to create. Because we are creating our reality. There's a great movie, What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams many years ago. I think it was in the 80s. And that movie is really great to depict how when somebody dies, what happens. If you're really, really depressed and you think even life is hell, that's what you're going to create on the other side. But if you're okay, you're going to go to a world where you continue to create in real time. Here we create with a little bit of a buffer of time.
There's some lag.
Yes, we don't want to think pink elephant and have the elephant show up. But we have a little bit of lag. But in the spirit world, there is no lag of time. It is, we create all the time. So once we die, whatever we thought that was going to happen is going to be there.
Wow. So we have to take care of our thoughts.
Yes, we should
Do
always
our cleansing of energies. Make sure.
Energetic hygiene, thought hygiene. You really need to be thinking about what you're manifesting in your life because your thoughts are manifesting.
Absolutely. And I think having that conscious awareness of what am I thinking now, or do I want to focus on X, Y, Z at this moment? You can focus on something but not put all your energy towards it. Be aware and then, okay, pivot. Right. So something maybe that's more, that will serve you better. Whatever it is, everyone has a different case by case.
Exactly.
Thank you for that. So have you ever had a moment where you thought you had cleared an entity and it tricked you? Or did you feel deceived?
That was like the first one that I had. That was the hard one. That was I thank that spirit so much because it was so hard that I didn't know how to handle it. And to me, that was my catalyst to go out there and really research how to handle them in the future. I thank that spirit enough. But you see, we have free will and so do the spirits. So we're not doing exorcisms. We're not casting out spirits. They have to want to go. So if they're not willing to go, and if the host is not willing to let them go, they're not going to go. In that case, the host, the one who had that spirit attached, did not want to let that spirit go. Because the spirit said to him that he made him look sexy to women. they're tricksters, they lie. They said, no, the reason that he attracts women in his life is because we make him attract these women. So when I asked, are you ready to release this spirit? The guy said, no.
No, I want this one. This one's fine. Oh.
Yeah. So, they have free will too, and you have to do a good job of convincing them that this host, is not beneficial for their soul's evolution. They need to continue on their journey, find their own body again. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but those are learning experiences that you have, and everything's a learning experience. And sometimes we clear entities, and the moment the person walks out the door, they may be in a bad mood or something happens and they start attracting them again. They're open. So just because you've had a clearing doesn't mean, it's like saying, oh, I took a shower, I'm clean, and then you go out and
go hiking or something.
You roll around in the mud.
Yeah. Wow, okay. Yeah. Well, that's important to realize that just because you've done a clearing and you've cleared things out doesn't mean you can't open your doors.
You've got to keep your own frequency high.
Yeah.
If you're going to go out there and you're going to start cursing at people and being nasty and everything, you're going to attract the same element.
Yeah. It's just the way it works. It's the vibration.
We're vibration. We're frequency.
Do you know if there's any universal laws that entities can skirt around and just... Is there anything?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Yeah.
So, what are some of the most common beings you've interacted with when someone's under hypnosis? Has someone talked about oh, I was Bigfoot, or I was the Loch Ness Monster, or I was a mantis being?
They come in. It's really funny. There was a time I was getting mermaids, constantly. Mermaids and mermen,
the fairy tale kind of.
Sometimes it's fairies I'll have. Sometimes it's dragons. It's really funny how they come in for a while. It's again a mermaid.
Waves of them.
Waves of them, and sometimes I do have light beings. Like I told you before, I always stayed away from the ET stuff. So, of course, if I do get some, it's not going to be anything that crazy. So, I get them all. I get it all now. But it's not, I can't say it's constant of anyone. They're just all over the place.
Variety.
There's a variety.
It's
a variety. I can't say it's one or the other. Light beings that they're just beings without any bodies. Yeah.
Makes me wonder then, is there any hierarchy of beings that exists? Is there the light beings are better because they have no body versus someone who does have a physical form?
I don't think there's any better. We're all. This is my belief system. We're all part of God. Okay, and we're all different aspects of God. We're all God. We're all part of this amazing source that wanted to experience all of this, and obviously when Source split itself up, there were other creators that created, and it just kept going on and on. I think there are much more evolved beings. Okay, you take your Jesus, you take Mother Mary, you take all of those type of ascended masters, Buddha, and that we know about. They've lived their lives and they've evolved, and our soul is constantly looking to evolve. Mm-hmm. So I look at them as something to aspire to really evolve our spirit to.
Why not? They're wonderful examples.
Yes.
And they spread the message of love.
Yeah.
Which is ultimately what connects all of us.
But we all have the same abilities. because we're all God.
And it's just about tuning into that, though. Just tapping into it.
Believing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The more you understand how you manifest with your thoughts, with your words, with your actions, once you understand that, you understand that there's really nothing you can't have or do. It really is that easy to manifest, but our belief system always is going to put the brakes on. Because if mom or dad were telling you, no, you can't have that, you still have that programming in your subconscious mind that's going to put the brakes on. So if you are going to manifest something in you will stop it. Well, I'm not good enough for that. That's a little thought will come in and say, be nice to me, be a millionaire, but I remember what my mom used to say about millionaires, that they're not good people, that things like that.
There's all this like programming that's kind of
it's the programming
and sitting in the back of someone's mind.
Yeah, and you don't even know what's going on, but you heard it maybe when you were 2, 3, 4 years old and just growing up, and maybe now you want to manifest something, but you don't think that you're good enough, or that if I'm like that, I'm not going to be a good person.
You see what I mean? You have to kind of deprogram.
Yeah.
Change the program in the computer system.
Yeah, but we've been programmed for forever.
That's the tough part of it
all.
all.
That's the tough part. But you start small. You start manifesting small, and you'll notice everybody manifests, but they don't notice it. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you a silly example. I was traveling one day, and I said, you know what? I would love to have an electric toothbrush with me. I don't have an electric toothbrush, but I said, I'd like to have an electric toothbrush with me when I travel. And like the next day, I walk into a store, a random store, and right in front of me was an entire display case of travel electric toothbrushes. And I'm going, what?
Perfect. Divine timing, as always. Oh, that's so great.
And it's like the universe laughs at you, and you said, see, you manifested. And I'm going, I've never seen travel electric toothbrushes on a display case. Like the whole display was...
You asked, and it showed up.
And it showed up in an entire display. These are the silly little things that we manifest, but we don't notice it. And then once we start noticing that we've manifested that, it's like almost like you've passed the test. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, she got it. And then
you recognize it.
And you recognize it. And you do it again. And you go, oh, isn't that interesting?
It just gets really fun.
And it gets a lot of fun. And you go, okay. And that's how it starts. You get the ball rolling. And mm-hmm. It happens so many times now to me that it's almost funny. When you'll be thinking of something and an email pops in and you went, it's just, that's just the way it is. Recently, I had a situation where I was so tired and so exhausted from all my traveling, but I had to put a video out. And all of a sudden, and I said to myself, I don't know how I'm going to put this video out because I'm just so tired. I don't have the patience, but I want it to be a good video. And boom, I get an email from someone saying, you know what, I don't know why, but your name came into my mind and I have some free time. And do you need some help like editing videos? And I went, yeah. And it just happened to be someone who I knew, that I trusted. And I said, sure, yeah, I'm going to send it to you right now. This is what I want. And did a magnificent job. So when you ask, it will be given to you. That's Abraham Hicks. Ask him, it shall be given, but you have to notice when things are being given to you.
Because then you can build that momentum. Like you're saying, it snowballs.
Exactly.
It's always like these little things that
right.
You just will cross your mind. Yeah. And you're like, wait, I was just thinking about this. I wanted it and I released it. I think that's the important thing, is knowing that you can ask for something, but you can't hold on to it.
Right.
Because then
No, you release it.
Right? You release it, you're like, okay.
You release it and you know it's taken care of.
Forget about it. You already know it's done.
Right.
And then it like shows up.
Well, that's the thing. You have to know it into being.
Yes. Absolutely.
You have to know it into being. You have to feel it and know as if it's already done.
Mm-hmm. That's the magic of it.
That's the magic of it. When I first started before I started doing the gatherings that I'm doing around the world, that's how it started brewing as a feeling, as an emotion, that I needed to bring people together. And at that time, I hadn't really thought about how I was going to bring people together because, like people would sit across from me like you are, and they'd say to me, Alba, I'm so lonely because I'm awakening right now and I don't have anybody to talk to. And I love talking to you because you get it. I said, well, yeah, but everyone I talk to is like you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, I should have like a dating service or something where I could like join these people together.
Before
right?
too. I'm like, there should be something like
like what did I call it? Spiritual harmony.com. It was just, I just thought of something like that. Why won't we put these people together? But I wasn't about to start a dating service, because that's
a whole other adventure.
No. But then that's when I said, I need to bring groups of people together because these are light workers who are really affecting their own environment. If we bring them together, the light is going to be even more powerful because when you bring people together, as they say in the Bible, when there are more and more of you. So let's shine the light even brighter. And that way, these will be your support system. So that's when I started doing these gatherings around the world. And, anytime I think about it, it's like I feel it out in my mind. It's like I look at the globe and I go, we need one here. It's almost like I target and I go, yeah, we need some light in this area. Let's bring the light workers in so they could, we do a mass meditation. Let's bring that.
Put that energy out.
Put that energy out there because we need to shine that light. So that's what it's like.
All right, Alba, thank you so much for coming on this show yet again.
It's
been a pleasure to have you here. And we can find information, albaweinman.com.
Yes, go to my website, albaweinman.com. You can see hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel, Alba Weinman, and watch and see how you like them.
Yeah, definitely check it out, you guys. So thank you so much, Alba, for coming on.
You're
Yet
welcome.
again, I'll give you a hug.
Another hug. I love the hugs.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And you guys, like I said, definitely check Alba's stuff out. It's really worth the watch, and the links are down below. So thanks for tuning in on this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Bye.